Rebecca Kohler. I'm originally from Canada. I've lived here for like 6 years. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. I had to get a green card to move here. Has anybody here ever immigrated or emigrated anywhere?
Canada.
Canada? Okay. Well, do you have a green card?
Yes.
Okay. No, I'm not immigrating. We're not all like that. Anyway, no, it's a complicated business. You have to get your birth certificate. You have to get your proof of your criminal record. They tested me for tuberculosis and syphilis. Then they treated me for syphilis. Finally, I get over here, and I gotta tell you, no, it is a pleasure. I'm glad to live here, but it is kind of weird to live here as a Canadian because I don't know if you know, we're similar countries, but also different. Our governments are kind of different. Like our government is actually made of snow, and it melts every summer, and we have to rebuild it. It's really complicated. No, but you know, we tend to be more liberal. Even our conservatives are more liberal than a liberal America. It's complicated. But like when Roe versus Wade got over, I was like, should I leave? Like it was insane to me, right? Because in Canada, it's just. Not only are abortions legal, but you don't pay for them. They're free. You know, like 1 week I got 3 abortions just because I could. I'm not going to waste this opportunity, you know. And they're really kind to you, and they take it seriously. You know, they'll even throw in a Brazilian if you're in which is great, because I know for me, like if I'm getting rid of a baby, I also want to look like a baby. You know? Yeah, you're a sick man. I like that. Speaking of vulvas, vaginas, whatever you want to call them. Pussies. I'm a heterosexual woman, and it's, you know, and I'm older. I'm in my mid to late 30s, which is a particular time of your 30s that you really hold on to, you know, because people talk about turning 40 or oh, your life is over, you know, or you're like, I don't want to turn 40, you know. And it's scary, and it's really stressing me out because I'm so far into my 30s that I recently turned 46. You know, it's coming for me. But sometimes I look at the younger generation, like kids in their 20s, and I'm like kind of jealous because they're fluid. You know, they talk about fluidity sexually. You know, they're like, whatever, man. And I'm like, wow, that's so cool. You know, like if fluid was like water in a sexual sense, then I'm like a cream cheese. You know what I mean? Like, I have an imagination, but I'm not moving. Do you know, like. But seriously, I'm envious because sometimes I wonder, like, am I bisexual? You know, and I was too clogged down or bogged down. I was too bogged down by like society or like even like disappointing my parents or something. Like I don't know. Because today everybody's like, oh, I'm bisexual, you know, I'm pansexual, I'm Demi Lovato, and I didn't get that opportunity, you know, to just explore, I have, when I say that I'm not fluid though, I will tell you this, it's interesting because I am heterosexual, but if I watch porno, which the kids today, they call that porn. If I watch porn, I only watch lesbian porn. So that is an interesting, like that is a place where I'm a little bit fluid maybe, I guess. But I think it's actually because lesbian porn is the only porn I found where it looks like no one's getting hurt. And I like that. I like that in my pornography. You know, sometimes you watch heterosexual porn, you know, it's a man and he's, you know, it's usually porn, less angry, but they're not really there, kind of, and it just looks like, you know, she has potatoes in there and he's trying to mash them, you know, and he's like, but I watch lesbian porn and I'm like, that looks nice. You know, that looks like kittens drinking milk. You know? Soft. But this is what's interesting. In real life, I don't want to. I have no interest. I'm glad other people do it, but I don't want to do it. You know, in fact, My favorite thing about my vagina is how far away it is from my face. Okay? Stay there. Speaking of vaginas, actually, you know, they talk about. Do you like how I can just thread the whole set on a vulva? They talk about the younger kids also having no work ethic, you know, and I don't like to be one like, oh, kids today. But okay, big but. No, I'm kidding. But I do see a sense of this in the framework of masturbation. Okay, I think kids today don't know what it used to be like to masturbate. Okay, because now they have sex toys and porn. No, you know, they have these tools. When I started masturbating, my clitoris was uphill both ways. No, but I don't know. I don't know if the ladies know what I'm talking about. I started masturbating when I was 11 years old. I was short and chubby, and I was like, hey. And one day I remember rubbing myself on a pillow for like 6 hours. And at the end of the 6 hours, I was like, oh! And, you know, it felt like sap was coming out of my tree. And I was like, what the fuck is that? I need to recreate this. So my favorite thing to do was to rub myself on pillows very slowly because I guess I thought if I did it slowly, no one would know what was happening. Every day after school, I would run home, get under the blankets in the TV room on a couch where my brother was on the other couch, and I would slowly rub my mons pubis on some pillows while I was watching reruns of like Newhart. Does anybody remember Newhart? I'd be like, the Three Daryls! Anyway. But I wore glasses. My glasses would like get foggy, you know. And I remember once my brother was like, "What are you doing, Rebecca?" You know, and I was like, "What?" Anyway, now the fucking vibrators. They have. Does anybody hear of a clit sucker? You might as well just get a taser for your clit. Like, it used to be romantic. I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna masturbate. I'm gonna make an evening of it. Light some candles, put on some music. With the clit sucker, just like, okay, I guess I'll go do my taxes. You know, like, it's too fast, so there's no work ethic. Okay. Speaking of which, or no, this isn't total non sequitur. Trigger warning, I'm a white woman. Sorry to scare you, but no, I am a white woman, and it's been a weird few years. It's been a weird few years to be a white woman, and I'm not complaining. I'm not saying, oh my God, it's so hard, but it is. But any difficulty I've had as a white woman, I accept that I brought it upon myself probably in some way, sometime. Okay, but I would also say that white women are on a spectrum, okay? By the way, side note, if you want to know if your sweater is ugly, date someone on the spectrum, by the way. Also, they'll tell you that your vagina is flappy. Okay, so I'd say being a white woman is on a spectrum, and some of us are nice and some of us cunts, okay? But it's funny, sometimes I wonder, now listen, by the way, there's no way that I'm a Karen or have been a Karen because I'm Canadian. And I don't know if you know, but Canadians, if we get into a confrontation, we melt. And so that's impossible. But sometimes I'll be in public trying to get something done, and I'll feel like, did we do a mistake by getting rid of the Karens? Do you know what I mean? Recently I was at Vaughn's and I was trying to get some sliced turkey. Okay. Does anybody eat that? All right. And I go up to the deli counter. I was really excited. There was no lineup. I was like, this will be easy, right? So I get in line. I stand there and there are like 4 people milling about behind the deli counter, but yet I waited there for 6 minutes. Do you ever experience that? Where there are people just like, and they look everywhere but at you. But that's okay, they have stuff to do, and I respect that. Finally, a woman looked at me and she said, yes, can I help you? And I said, oh yeah, I was hoping to get some sliced turkey. Can you be me for a second, sir, and just say, I was hoping to get some sliced turkey.
I was hoping to get some sliced turkey.
She looked at me like that for like 45 seconds until I said, "Is that okay?" She said yes, and she said, "So-and-so will take care of you." So then this young woman comes over, and she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I was hoping to get some sliced turkey." And then we go over to where the sliced turkey is, and she was like, "What kind do you want?" And I was like, "Oh, well," and I look in the cabinet, and usually the meat is there, right? There was no meat. It was empty. I guess they were cleaning it or something? But usually I point at the meat. I don't know what fucking home-style, country-cooking turkey loaf breast I get. I know what it looks like. So she was like, "What kind of turkey?" And I was like, I don't know. "What kind of turkey do you have?" And she said, "I don't know." "You work at the deli counter." And it was this moment where I was really yearning for a Karen. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe Karens would be okay in some kind of, like, controlled environment. Like a Batman, you know? Where, like, I'm in this situation, like, I was hoping to get some turkey. I mean, fucking, oh, what kind of turkey? I don't know what kind of turkey. And then you just shine a light into the sky of, like, a minivan or something. And this woman comes in and you're like, she's like, "What's the problem?" Like, she doesn't know what kind of turkey do you have? This at the deli counter. Do you have a manager? And you're like, "Thank you. Get out of here." Anyway, okay, I should go. I'll just tell you really quick about the worst time I ever had sex. It was with a guy, and he was what I call the jackhammer. Do you know what that is? Oh, don't laugh too hard, sir. No, it's when somebody bangs you really hard and really fast with no subtlety, and I call it also a monkey fuck. Anyway, he was a jackhammer, and he was having sex with me, and he wouldn't even make eye contact. And if you're gonna do it, sir, make eye contact. So then, if the woman's like this, you know to stop or at least slow down. Anyway, it was just crazy. He was so oblivious, and it was like if he was a jackhammer, I was the sidewalk. And I'm pretty sure he'd been hired by the city of Los Angeles to get rid of the sidewalk.